theory, we have some key concepts. We know that this is vital. It's the beginning. It's as if we were gardeners. We need to prepare the field for the flowers to bloom. Okay, and we need different techniques. We have different flowers, different plants. We have different students, different learning styles. So what's in your toolkit? Remember that we have the chat box here. So comments, questions, points you would like to bring up at the end of the presentation, as this is a recorded webinar. I will be meeting you online, and we have some minutes for Q&A, and of course to share your ideas and discuss whatever you want to extend. So don't forget the chat box there. So what's in your toolkit? Do you have some like super effective strategies that you use in different levels that you adapt according to age? Do you have some like key activities that you use at the beginning of the year to set the tone, to show that this is a positive classroom and that they are welcome and that you are very happy to start a new year with them? Okay, so I'm going to show what's in my toolkit, and here is the magic of number 3. So for each of the tools that I have in my kit, I'm going to give you 3 different elements or 3 different perspectives. So let's get started with the practical part. So my toolkit, I have like 3 pillars, okay, to use as the foundation of my classroom. 3 daily habits, and many other habits that we use every day, but these are the ones I want to highlight in this presentation. 3 effective tools and 3 boosters. Okay, when things go wrong, when the energy level is very low and you need some to activate minds, and so I have the boosters. So let's get started with the 3 key pillars. Okay, so connecting with Maslow before Bloom, we have to connect before we teach, and that connection is vital. So build trusting relationships with your students. I'm not saying something new, but you need to believe and you need to plan accordingly and connect with your students, bond with them. You need to invest time. It's not one day that you do an all about me activity. It's not that. It's start this relationship that you are going to build throughout the weeks along the school year, so the bond becomes more solid as time goes by. Plan with your students in mind. This is, I know, obvious, but we need to refresh this, because sometimes we sit down, we take the book, we see the syllabus, the objective is the international exam, and we plan with that as an objective, which is okay, but you have your students and they are the main characters. So design lessons that are relatable, you see, and that meaningful, that they see a connection with their interest, with the world, what's happening in their cities, okay? So you need to find this connection. And last but not least, empower and elevate. Help them, as I said before, the quote by Robert Fisher, okay, foster their autonomy, boost their self-esteem, because when they become the managers of their own learning, things progress more quickly, and they become, it's like a positive cycle, you see. They do something which is like to be praised. You praise, they become motivated, and more motivation leads to more risk-taking and to more learning. So we need the positive cycle there. So 3 key concepts, now practical ideas for the classroom. So from theory to practice, because the theory is always something that we can read in books. I have tons of books here about classroom management, positive psychology, growth mindset. But what do we do in the classroom? How do we implement all these key concepts into the daily routine? So I have 4 ideas here. This is a kind of index. When you get hold of the slides, then what comes after this is examples of this index. Okay, so when you see these orange shapes, so all about me, we always do. So I'm going to give you some extra ideas. This is us, guess and win, and when two circles meet. Okay, so let's start with all about me slots. I wrote slots because don't do it once. Very often teachers do it, we do it once, the first week or the second week, and that's it. Let's do something different. So there are many templates around on the internet, on Canva, or you can design your own template. So try to find different styles that are engaging and they are appealing and students find attractive. So maybe you give them one about family, next week about, I don't know, friends, next week about free time activities, next week about elementary level favorite things. You know what it's like. Okay. Or in week 3, after you have presented number 1 and number 2, you can ask them to compare many and to decide. So students, you're giving them choice. They decide what they want to share in the All About Me template, and they design their own All About Me template with boxes, with squares, with shapes they like. So this is the same All About Me, but created by students. And of course, they will be more engaged and you can put them up on display. So this is one idea. Or if you want your students to make something, especially in primary school, you can have this, which is very simple. 2 circles, you need 2 circles, white circles. One, you cut out this triangle, okay, and you use the brad pin here, okay. So instead of having a spinner, you put one over the other one, and they start moving the second circle, and you have like I am, my favorite, my family. So you see only the slide. This is excellent for children because they are busy making and they feel very proud. For adolescents, maybe not this one, but maybe they can create a reel, okay, or something visual that they want to share, or they bring a box with their important things in life, something related to teenage life. And of course, everybody wants to talk about themselves. So this is fun, this is engaging, and this is connect for teach. And also you can use it in your diagnostic period because you see what they remember, where they can't express effectively, and you need to review, okay? So again, it gives you information, they have fun, and you start connecting. Or you can use week number 4. So here we are using the first month to connect. And you can use other topics from social emotional, from their social emotional skills, such as what can help when you feel down, when you feel angry, when you feel empty, depending on the age. Very interesting topics to bring into the classroom. Or you draw a heart and they include important things and people in their lives. So you can include feelings in the All About Me slots. Or you have your classroom decoration, another important element to have an appealing atmosphere and attractive, visually attractive. You can have in this classroom we, and you have the names of the children. This is us, which is not the TV series. So we, and you use verbs, or this is us, and you use adjectives, or this is us and you include classroom rules, or this is us in week 3 or 4, and you say, okay, you suggest the topic, but you need to decorate the this is us board. So they need to get together, like team building. It's the problem that you pose, they need to solve it, and they need to decorate, everybody contributing. This is us, another activity. 2 more, guess and win. In guess and win, as you can see, this is very simple. All activities here are super simple, okay, and low prep, okay. This one especially, you can write words. This is about you, because it's good to connect and to get to know your students, but they also want to get to know you, and they're very interested and they're very curious. So maybe you write not so many, 4, 5, 6 words that are important in your life, that they represent something about you, okay? So you write the words, and what they need to do is guess. And how do you go about this? Maybe they work in groups and they have to get together and write 1 sentence for each of the words. Imagine two. Maybe they write, okay, we think that you have two children. We think that black is your favorite color. We think that you are a big fan of pizza, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So they have to write one sentence for each word. Because you have groups, you will have probably 4 or 5 versions. So that's okay. Individually, this would take longer. So groups read their versions, and you allot 10 points for a correct sentence, guess and win. 5 points if there is something which is true in the sentence but not completely correct, and 0 points if it has nothing to do. If they say you hate black, it's completely wrong, okay? Because I love black. Black is my favorite color, so that would be 0, okay? So the group with the highest score wins, and maybe they have to write something about you. They have to use that information and whatever comes up, okay, to write about in an email. This is my new English teacher, all right? Okay. When two circles meet, this includes a bit of movement, and it's super engaging. You ask your students to stand up into circles. You can go out, you can leave the classroom and go to the corridor, to the yard, okay? Movement is also important to activate, okay? So there is an inner cycle inside and outer cycle outside. So students stand facing each other. You can play some background music. When they hear the music, they have to move, okay? Step by step. When the music stops, the two circles stop moving, and of course you will be facing one student, and you can, I know, shout out the topic, family, favorite hobby, favorite band, love is, or a sentence to complete, and they have to sort of tell the person in front of them and then the other person to the one from the inside circle. You can do this for several rounds, and after that, probably they can, if you want to integrate skills, you can ask them to write what they remember, okay? Or to say something that was new to them about their classmates. So again, another interesting activity. So we have 4 here. Let's do 4 more. Are you ready for more? 4 more, okay? Good. Common ground, me in one word, the pizza of my happiness, and paper balls galore. Probably you know them, probably you're using them. This is the way I use them with my students, and we have a lot of fun. I get to know them, and we do language work. I'm obsessed with the linguistic objectives. So it's a big here. I'm going to practice this. I'm going to refresh these concepts. So common ground, again, group work. If you have groups of 4, they have to find 4 things they have in common. Groups of 5 members, 5 things they have in common, okay? So they need to say, I don't know, we all like, we don't like, we get up, we do this after school. You can always work on the board, like scaffolding, language chunks. So you activate, remember that these are the first weeks, okay? So the language may be a bit rusty. The pizza of my happiness, another of my favorite activities for the first weeks. You draw a pizza on the board, and they have to cut out 6 slides. On each slice of pizza, they need to write something that makes them happy. There you have some language information. I adore, what makes me happy is, I can't live without. So imagine teenagers, they always write friends or cell phone or something, a tech tool, a tech gadget. Okay, so here you have 2 more. Me in one word. This is great also. You have to ask them to think of one word that really describes them. It may be an adjective, or it may be their favorite hobby, something they are passionate about. Which would be your word? If you ask me, I think that creativity is part of my life, and I need creativity in the classroom. I need creativity. I think it's my energy, okay, my fuel, all right, in life. Not with cooking. I'm not a good cook, but creativity would be one. Okay, maybe they say football. Maybe they say friends. Okay, maybe they say organized. Okay, So something that describes them in one word. And of course, they expand. Paper ball fight, super engaging and big fun. They take a sheet of paper and they write 2, 3, 4 sentences. They can draw some emojis. Okay, you have different varieties about themselves. So you make the paper ball, and when you say, okay, so they toss the balls and then say, okay, let's stop. So they have to pick one. Okay, open, read, and say, okay, I think this is Susan because she's a big fan of. Susan, is this you? No. Oh, mistake. I think this is okay. So you have like natural conversation, and of course it serves two purposes: connect before you teach and get to know your students. Are we okay? If you have any other that you recommend, in the chat box, because we are together to go with all these ideas for the first weeks in the classroom, so we can read this later when we get together.